No worries, mate. I'll just click it recording now. 2 minutes.
How you doing, man?
I'm all good, mate. How are you?
I was, I've been through like the whole roller coaster. I got promised this fight. I was real excited about it, and then I found out that it wasn't a welterweight fight. That it was that these guys expected me to go up to fight them, and then I worked to try to come up with some sort of agreement to fight at 169 to save the fight. +1, so it was 170 really, because and we trained to fight a 170 guy. I went out to Jacksonville and trained out
Was
there for.
170 the agreement at the beginning of the fight?
No. I'm a welterweight. I'm
Yeah.
5'7". And I'm a welterweight champion. I'm 4-1 in the division. I lost my last fight was the first time I've ever lost in the weight division. It was a questionable loss.
Yeah.
But I've been fighting. I know what weight division I'm fighting. I'm in like this perfect size where I'm too small to be 175, and I'm a little too big for the 45, 55. So like 165 is a perfect sweet spot for me. As an amateur, I was a regional champion here in Puerto Rico as an amateur, 165.
Yeah.
So it just made sense for me, and obviously it shows when I fight that it's a weight that makes sense for me. I do great at it, and it's sustainable. I only have 8 fights. When I say I only have 8 fights, is because I know that the way that I fight and how I fight, that if they kept me busy, I could have 16 fights, 20 fights, no problem. I have a sustainable style, and I know I can keep pumping it out if they give me the opportunity to. I said they offered me this fight with Cox. I took it, and then they hit me with the turnaround 172, and I was like, whoa, I can't do that. I'm like, that's not what I do. I thought you guys came, because this guy was allegedly, this. He was supposed to be this big prospect. That's why I'm fighting a guy who's 0-0. He's 0-0 in BKFC, but because he had a promising career in boxing, and, he was a guy who could have been champion, and he's a strong left-handed lefty. When then to BKFC UK, it made sense. So I was like, okay, I'll go over there and beat this guy up. Why not? I'll show him the difference between bare knuckle and BK. But I saw a recent interview that was released just recently of the guy talking by BKFC UK, and there was something about the way that he talked. He talked about all his different accolades in boxing, and it just never really mentioned anything about me except the fact that I said something that they didn't like. But I think they really didn't know what they're getting themselves into. Maybe they finally realized what they're getting themselves into, but they just refused to make the weight. They refused to make the fight. The fight got shelved because they refused to show up. I mean, I feel like I agreed to a 170 fight after all this shit. Just to save the fight so I can go to the UK. To me, it's a brand new audience. And it's different in the UK. You guys have had bare knuckle for a long time, and the style that I have, blocking with my elbows and the movements and the angles and the unorthodox stuff. And I thought, people would enjoy that. And a lot of people thought it was a risky fight, me fighting Cox, because of how big he is. But fighting him at 170, I know he's a big dude, so he has to cut down to 170. So fighting him at 170, for me, I'm giving him 5 pounds, but it's more like a handicap. It's not really an advantage. I'm giving him a handicap because bare knuckle, especially BKFC, the rule sets that we have, it's not boxing. He could have been a world champion. I've seen some of his fighting, but he was never a world champion. I've fought world champions and beat them, in bare knuckle. Bare knuckle isn't boxing, and I was really looking forward to fighting this guy. He was the first left-handed guy that I got that I get to fight in bare knuckle. And it's just bare knuckle was so different that he was gonna know within the first 30 seconds that this is a whole different sport, and I was really looking forward to showing that off. And I got the news this morning They told me the guy didn't want to make weight. He's 185. He didn't want to make weight. But I got on the scale this morning. When they told me that, I got on the scale and I showed my manager, I'm 182. I can make 165. Easy. I'm 182 right now. I'm out here working my animals. I'm a professional. I'm a true champion, and I might be a short 165 pounder, but there's not a guy that's fought me. I got 8 fights, in bare knuckle. There's not a guy that'll fight me that's fought me that'll tell you Elvin's too little for 165. Because as soon as they start hitting them, they understand. They're like, oh, this guy's a champion. It felt like they were completely overlooking. They have all these accolades from boxing, but they're not really looking at the fact that I'm a game changer. I've been fighting bare knuckles to BKFC 3. I've helped mold the sport. Some of the best bare knuckle fighters in this side of the world trust them. They're training to me, and I'm the guy that people go to. And we change the game, we change the rules, and to me, this was going to be another perfect opportunity for me to go international and really get to show that I am a world-class champion. And they needed to give me my belt back, but fortunately, Cox just completely fell through on me. I feel like he owes me money. He owes me an ass whooping or something. After all the work and money I spent, I went to, Lorenzo usually comes over here and works with me. I went out there to Lorenzo and worked with Lorenzo and just let him coach me. And I came back and just kind of kept going with that. And I really been focusing on a power forward style and really wanted to knock this guy out. I wanted to show these guys that I am the champion. And now I don't have the opportunity. Now I'm back on the shelf. And I feel like after all I gave this guy, I gave him so many handicaps, give him everything I could possibly give, the weight, the location, everything. And now they won't even let me go over there and get paid. He could have just let me go over there and make weight and get paid, but now I don't even get paid. I'm just left in the freaking dust. They just leave me in the.
It's like laughing and joking
about it. Leaving out to dry.
Yeah, it's not fair, mate. And when it got announced that you were coming to the UK, we were all excited. We were like, shit, Elvin Brito's coming to the UK to fight, fucking class. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's sad, mate, because obviously you put all your money, all your effort into the training camp, and now it's got like nothing. And what do? You just stood there.
I was left out to dry, because it has nothing to do with me. I fulfilled all my obligations. I'm walking around 182 pounds right now. I'm ready to go fight a guy at 170. Even though I'm a 165 pounder, I'm a true professional. I think people should know that by now. I think I've fought enough and I have enough of a repertoire. I've fought, especially at 165, with some of the most tenacious guys, some of the strongest guys around.
Yeah, definitely.
And worked all of them and made it look easy. I'm one of those guys that makes it look fun, makes it look easy. And this is one of the most dangerous sports in the world, and there's a reason for that. And I don't even get to show that, after all the work that we've been putting in.
Yeah, and like you're a unique fighter as well. Like you can't get someone to replicate you. Like you can't train for a fighter like Elvin Brito. Do you understand?
Yeah, no, you can't. That's why it was. And you don't understand. This guy Cox. I don't know if they knew that or not, because they come from boxing, so they have their own worldview on what they think striking is. So I knew that when I came up to the line with him and I came up and he saw a stance he'd never seen before, and angles and combinations that he didn't understand and things. He's like, that's not boxing. What are you doing? I thought we were boxing. You're like, no. This is fighting. We're fighting, bro. I really wanted to that's really the point that I wanted to drive through in this fight. I wanted to really show the difference between boxing and fighting. I got to show it a little bit with Julio Garcia. Julio was a world-class champion. He was one of the best boxers I ever fought. And this is the guy that got me ready for my championship fight. But I didn't, UK, they didn't see that in the UK. They saw that here. So I wanted to be able to go out there in the UK and fight another guy who people see as a world-class boxer and show them how much different bare knuckle is than boxing, and why we are game changers and we're acclaimed and people come train with us and we get, we ask the big questions, we really work a lot on the abstract, and I really did want to show something that I never got to show before. So I just want to apologize to anybody that was there waiting for me. I don't even get to go and make weight. You know.
So isn't there no, like, is it 100% no replacement, nothing, you're not coming to the UK? Or is there
Well, I was hoping to announce it. I was hoping. See, I don't work with the higher. I don't know anything about the higher ups or how it works. I was hoping that they didn't announce it, but the fact that they announced it, I think that shows that I'm out. You know, it's not happening. You know? I was hoping they didn't. I was hoping they didn't announce it, and I was able to at least show up. You know, I really did want to put a whole showcase for the fans, and I really think the UK fans would have enjoyed it. I will have an opportunity to come back. I really think it'll happen eventually, but it just sucks because we're so close. We're like we're like a week away. It's so close, and we've been working so hard and sacrificing so much, and they left us out to dry. You know, it's a damn shame. I really can't do anything about it. I'm left powerless to it. The only thing that I could do at this point is react to the news. You know, I can flip out and go crazy, or I could play it cool. Or I could, you know, but I have to be smart about my next decision because, you know, I've been getting ready to fight for a long time now. I've been in fight. I did my training camp for my boxing match in Russia, which was like something special. I came right back, did Lorenzo's whole training camp. You know, we worked some of Jay's training camp. We went over there to Jacksonville, trained out there, came back to Puerto Rico, finished training camp, you know, and we've just been investing ourselves in just, you know, it's been months, you know, it's been months and months and months of work, you know. And right now I'm sitting at 182 pounds, solid, ready to fight this guy. And it's like a challenge to me. It was like a freak show fight to me because we're not fighting at 165. It doesn't matter. But to me, the decision came to, look, if we're fighting on the street and Brian Cox comes into me and we start, I'm not going to ask him if he weighs 4 or 5 pounds more. You know, we're going to start hitting each other. And I fought, last time I fought a guy as big as Brian Cox, they had to drag him away, you know? So it's fighting, it's different when it's bare knuckle, you know? So I was really looking forward to that. I'll just ramble on and on about it because that's all we were invested in, you know? That's all we've been thinking about.
I can see, mate, you're genuinely gutted, and like the fans will be gutted, and it's a shame, mate, because you do deserve a reward or of some sort. Do you know what I mean? Or even compensation for your expenses and stuff like that. But
yeah, I feel like I don't. You know, I get paid for services rendered. You know, I'm a private contractor. You know, and I really think that I am a true professional. Everybody who, I don't think I've ever fought for anybody and they regret having me on their show. I've always been a main event, co-main event, main card guy. Nobody would dare put me on an undercard, you know? But it's not even about, I can't ask for services rendered because I never got the service to render the services, but like there's losses that I'm acquiring because my opponent was unwilling to fulfill his contract. Like it's been months. Like I found out Knuckle Mania handshake. It was a handshake deal in Knuckle Mania because I did Lorenzo's training camp, so I was in Knuckle Mania, cornering Lorenzo, and you know it was a handshake deal. I was like, all right, we're going to England. I got my passport already, ready to go, and I had a feeling this guy wasn't gonna make weight, just from looking at him. So I have been training just to be heavy, you know. So and done a lot of work. You know, eggs are expensive now in the U.S. You know, in this part of the world. I don't know how expensive eggs are in the U.K. now, but I've been eating like 5-6 eggs a day for like 6, 7, 8 weeks. Like at first, I thought it was gonna be. I was eating the eggs. I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. It's good because I like the eggs. You know, I was eating over easy eggs, and you know, I was eating them like sunny side up. And at first, it was fun, but after a while, dude, you're eating eggs every day. It just starts getting gross. And, it just starts getting gross. It's like work, you know. So I'm putting all this work in. I'm eating, you know. I'm putting all this diet in. It's expensive, you know. These are losses that I'm taking because my opponent isn't willing to fulfill his contract. That's why I feel like he owes me money or he owes me an ass whooping. That's what he needs. He needs, you know, he should have just kept his mouth shut, Let me show up to England, you know, wave at all the English girls and, you know, eat some crumpets and shit, you know, you know, and hang out. It would have been nice, you know, and who knows what could have happened, but he couldn't. He didn't even give me the courtesy to do that. It just felt the whole time. It felt like this guy just was obviously not a bare knuckle fighter, you know, and it's just because if it was me, I would have just kept my mouth shut, you know, because at least he would have got paid. But he said, well, I don't know why he wouldn't even show up to weigh-ins, you know. At least show up to the weigh-ins. Let me tell you, no, you're too fat. You're not I'm not fighting you. But and at least I get paid and I get to go home with half my paycheck. But he didn't even give me that courtesy. He just, you know, I agreed to do this fight. This is really, he's fighting the champ. You know, he's fighting the best 165 pounder. I have one of the best records at that division. You know, with so many wins in the division, I've done so great with it. And this guy's first time coming in from boxing. Really a has-been type dude. And setting him up so he can get a win with Elvin. And I'm giving him every advantage he could possibly get. And he doesn't even give me the courtesy coming in and weigh in, even if he's, you know, over, you know. Yeah, it's just seems completely unprofessional. And the fact that I'm left out to dry is the worst part because I go all in, you know. That's just how I am. I go all in. There's no other. How else can you be a champion if unless you're constantly expecting more of yourself? You're constantly disappointed in your performance. You constantly want more. You're constantly you're constantly like, okay, I gotta do more. But that's the only way. You have to hold yourself to this unrealistic standard to be a champion. You know, I'm 182 pounds right now. I can make 165 pounds Friday, no problem. I don't know what the big deal is. I don't know what 15 pounds is. You know, is a big deal. You could be in if it's an hour a pound in the sauna, you could be in the sauna for 15 hours. Does that sound unrealistic? You could do it if you're a professional. I've done it. That's what we do. Like, right? Like, that's why you're not a world champion. That's why I'm a champion and you're not. Wasting my time.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. You never know, mate. Hopefully they can pull some sort of replacement in, but surely to God, you can't just get left like that, mate, in the dark.
Just leave me in the dark. Let me out to dry, man. It's a damn, like, I don't even want to, like, I don't want to be the asshole, you know, like I'm like, because they want to make me look like I'm the asshole, like I'm talking shit, but this is the reality of the situation I'm facing, you know. I still got to pay my bills. I have to pay my bills, and I was like, okay, at least I'll fight next week. I'll get my money, you know. But like that's not happening now. Now I'm maybe I'll fight May. Maybe we'll see. I have an opponent. Maybe it looks like I'm still gonna be fighting very soon, and everything's not gonna go complete waste. But I'm not fighting next week, you know. You know, I have my shorts made. You know, I have sponsors. I have, you know, there's a whole. I mean, you should know this if you're a professional. There's a whole process. There's a whole team. You know, there's a chunk of my check that's already set for people that don't fight, but they're part. If I can't, you know, if I don't have them, then I can't fight. You know, I had one of my teammates paid his ticket to go to England, to go to Leeds. You know, I only get one ticket in my contract, but he wanted to be there because he wanted to be in my corner. So he paid for his tickets to be over there. So now he has to get it reimbursed. Hopefully he can get all his stuff reimbursed and he didn't rent anything, you know, but it's a real pain. I hate to just complain about it. Like I said, I'll just keep you'll let me complain. I'll just keep complaining.
No, mate, it's totally understandable, mate. Like everyone will understand it, mate. I'm sure they'll all feel the same way as I do. Like they'll be gutted for you, man.
He could have let me show up, dude. Like you know, it's a different culture in the UK. You know, he could have let me show up, and we gotta work something out.
Yeah,
we gotta do, bro. Like I said, if I run into Cox on the street and he pushed my girl or one of my guys, and we end up, I'm not gonna ask him how much he weighs. I'm gonna beat his ass, knock him out. You think he's not the first one? You know, he's not the first one. He's just tally him up. You know. So like we gotta work something out. You know, we're gonna work something out, dude.
You have to fight it. Like, if it doesn't happen at BKFC 40, it has to happen in Elvin Brito coming to the UK, though.
I really would love to do that. That's something that when they gave me the opportunity to go to the UK, I was like, okay, yes, because it's a different venue, you know, it's a different venue, and the people are different, the spirit is different. People, you know, there's bare knuckle's been around for a long time from BK, and there's a certain minutia that I think people would appreciate. I think if I go to the UK and fight bare knuckle, because I am a specialist, then I would come back. They would have me back. You know, I think the UK fans would love to have me back if I could just go out there and show them my product. You know, at my bare knuckle, why I'm so renowned back home. You know, why I always have somebody in my training camp train with me. You know, I've been training bare knuckle for you know, it's been almost 5 years now, and I've always had somebody here train with me at some point for most of that time. And it's for a reason, you know. It's not because it's nice. I mean, It's beautiful out here, but it's not just because it's nice. There's a lot of nice places, but we have this. We just, you know, we really dedicated ourselves to understanding that bare knuckle is its own sport. And as soon as you take the gloves off, you're talking about the different impact mechanics. You're talking about hand fatigue. You're talking about touching like nerves that are exposed that weren't normally exposed. You're talking about damage, body damage, broken bones, you know, broken eyes, getting punched in the eye, getting punched in the infraorbital. You know, it's flash knockouts. It's completely different sport. It's the viciousness of a bare knuckle fight by those rules. You know, it's just its own different sport and different mentality. And there's a psychological barrier that to me is the most important in bare knuckle. And I really don't believe it's a young man sport. I'll fight a younger fighter, you know, because I don't believe this is a young man sport. I think this sport, I think sometimes the zealous, what helps a young boxer in boxing will hurt him in bare knuckle. You know, that zealous spirit of just going all out and being able to just that spirit of the youth of just being able to just push through, that will get you hurt. That'll get you maimed in a bare knuckle fight, you know. That'll get you like scarred for life, you know, because the guy who knows better will hurt you, you know, because sometimes you just have to know better. There's a certain tact to bare knuckle, you know, and once you have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fights, you know, you have to have a certain psychological. There's a certain psychological barrier that you have crossed at some point. You know, you're still here. Yeah.
So we'll go back to when you went to Russia. Now we're just talking about boxing and that. How do you find the boxing to the bare knuckle? Do you prefer the bare knuckle or do you prefer?
Well, you know, I went over there. When I went over there, if you watch that fight, if that was a bare knuckle fight the way that I'm used to fighting, you know, if that was a 10-minute, 5 2-minute rounds bare knuckle, I would have smoked that kid. You know, I would have smoked him. I was hitting him so hard. The guy that was with us, the American guy that was with us, you know, he was a world-ranked boxer. I've never boxed. That was my first time boxing. And, you know, he's watching the fight. He's like, holy shit, you're hitting this guy hard. Every punch is as hard as you can. You're hitting, I'm hitting him with everything, every punch. And I was doing that for about 10 minutes. And then I got tired, you know. And then I came back in the last round. I dropped him in the last round. They didn't count it as a knockdown, but I did knock him down. I hit him and he went down. Okay, that's a knockdown. I knocked him down in the last round. I didn't count it. And I think I did great. I had so much fun. The guy, I hurt him a lot more than he hurt me because of the way that I fight. But I realized that because I've been doing this for so long, I am a specialist. Like my style is just tailored for bare knuckle. And if that was a bare knuckle fight, I would have smoked that kid. You know, if you watch that fight, it would have, especially after that first, second, third round, he would have been bleeding all over the place. You know, I would have been, you know, it would have been a crazy scene. I would have been. Even after the first round ended, I was like, oh, you thought it was going to be sweet, huh? And I'm like flexing on him because he's all red. He's already bleeding. He's bleeding. His body's all red because he was really tall. And I was like, you thought it was going to be sweet. I started flexing on him. And because I knew, like, this is but it made me realize that I'm a specialist, you know? I really am. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if that was a bare knuckle fight, you know, I asked them, "Hey, you want to rematch me in bare knuckle?" And they're like, "Nah." You know, like, and they love rematches. They love rematches in Russia, but not against me. Nah, they got
What
players.
was the experience like going over to Russia? What was it like, the experience?
It was fun. It was fun, man. Stopping in Istanbul was very interesting, and Russia, the people. Geopolitics is a really strange thing. It's very complicated, and most people, they need to be led by real simple signs and symbols. But
Yeah.
when you have a really good understanding, you understand that when you go over there, they're just like you. They're people just like you. And societies form around governments. It's like because people have to learn how to operate. Like everybody just wants to make it. Everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to provide for their family, and that's one thing that I noticed traveling. Whether I go from Puerto Rico in the U.S., anywhere in the U.S. U.S. is a big place, and going to Istanbul, going to Russia for a long time is that, and really we're all the same, and there's a difference between the people and the government.
Yeah.
And when it comes to governments, there's really not a government in the world that I could agree with their actions, because governments have their own interests in mind that are beyond our understanding, because we don't understand how things work at that level. But they're not us. They're not the people. And when I went over there, the Russian people were awesome.
Well, we're all in the same boat, aren't we? Like
Huh?
we are all in the same boat. Like,
Yes, no, yes, we're people. Yes, everywhere is the same. Everywhere is the same. And the thing is like war, especially a conflict, tends to people. They have to pick like, oh, there's the bad guys. There's the bad guys. There's really no bad guys in war.
yeah,
It's really the guys that win the ones that win the war are the ones that could be the most savage. Those are the ones that win the war. The ones that are the
yeah,
most, not the good guys. There's no good guys in war. That's a childish ideal of believing there's such a thing as a good guy in a conflict of that scale. Maybe at a smaller scale, somebody trying to take your stuff in the neighborhood, but at that scale, when they're pitting people against people in a mechanism that's larger than people can understand, they're just being tossed in there. It's literally a theater of war. Like
people
it's
sat behind the desk, just sending people. You go
yeah,
there, you go
exactly.
there, like
You
that
don't know
there.
what you're out. You're just, but we're all the same, when it comes to that. And the governments are all the same too. They're all gangsters. There's just different gangsters in different areas with their own little, but they're all gangsters in their own way.
Gangsters in suits.
Yeah, they're just the biggest gang around. They have a monopoly on violence, like Obama said.
Yeah,
That's what makes
I swear to God, I could get really deep on this conversation, but I'm not going to. My channel gets closed down.
Right, they're gonna say like, why do they shut us down? We're just talking about, but yeah, but that's one thing I realized, like, and I'm a people person. I've
Yeah,
always been like that, and my friends know that. I got a lot of friends. I'm blessed with a lot of friends, and that's what I see when I see the people out there. I just, we really all just trying to make it, and it's
yeah,
easy, no matter whether you're in Russia or you're in Puerto Rico in the U.S. or you're in the U.K. Wherever you're, it's easy to just uh, give up on yourself and just go with the flow or do what the system wants and just betray yourself. It's the easiest thing to do. One of the hardest things to do is to actually stand up for what you believe in, you know,
yeah,
anywhere in the world. And that's a unifying factor for an exceptional class of men, and I'm not like a Gnostic or anything, but I have a certain level of exceptionalism when it comes to just there's levels of understanding, um, and unless you have understanding, you won't be able to reach that level. You
yeah.
have to you have to understand. You have to have that self education where you're actually searching for truth. It's not just you could have the truth in front of you all day. If you're not looking for it, you're never gonna see it. You can just have your own perception of it. So you already have your own preconceived notion of what the truth is. So you'll never find it.
Yeah, definitely. And what's the plans for your future? Are you going to stay strictly with bare knuckle
Well, you
BKFC,
know,
or are you going to
I
switch
like
to and
doing
from?
all the, you know, I love doing all the extra stuff on the side. That was fun. I
Yeah,
would
definitely.
love to keep fighting. I mean, I have my passport. I would love to keep fighting international. I would love to come to the UK. I would love. See, I, I like the BKB, but it's its own thing. It's not like bare knuckle fighting because we have our own style. The bare knuckle
Yeah,
fighting is more. It's more grisly. It's just really. It's grimy and it's nastier. You know. It's really more
yeah,
like a fight. You know. It's like we meet up in the street and fight. You know. It's like a locker room brawl. It's like when we were in the
yeah.
kids like, meet me at the park and we're just like. But it's a little bit different. You know. It's a little bit more primal, and I thought it was gonna be. You know. I was really looking forward to showing our our interpretation of it. You know, because it is an art. Just like boxing or mixed martial arts or karate or you know Muay Thai. Bare knuckle fighting is its own thing, you know. And I was hoping I could
Yeah.
make Cox understand that, but he never gave me a chance. Yeah.
I know it's frigging nightmare, mate. But obviously, I've had you on for nearly 40 minutes here, mate. I don't want to keep you too long, but is there
Yeah.
anything else
You
you
hear
want
my
to share
ghost
with
calling
me?
for me.
Is there anything else you want to share with us, mate, before we
No,
wrap
man,
it up?
I really appreciate you taking my time. I hope I didn't ramble on too much, you know, because
No, not at all,
we just
mate. Not
found
at
out about
all.
this. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Thanks, Lou. This is the second time on your show.
yeah,
Appreciate you, man. Thanks, and hopefully next time I'll be in person with
yeah,
we
over
over
here.
there. You know, it'll be awesome. Well, have a good day, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem, mate. Thanks for coming on, Elvin, and I hope you enjoy the rest of
Well,
your day, pal.
you too.
See you later, mate. Yes, people. Oh, I'm devastated for him there. Like, you can see how gutted he is, man. It's shocking because he's put all that time and effort into a camp, obviously spending money. And I don't know if Elvin does this full time, but do you know what I mean? Like, could be relying on everything for this paycheck for the fight. And look how close we are. It's fucking 22nd of April. Mental, man. Jesus Christ. Oh God, people. But never mind. We've got Anthony Holmes and Danny Christie now the main event, which is obviously massive news for the lads. Even though it was the main event in many people's eyes, it's now happening on the main event. So 22nd of April, it's going down. Anthony Holmes still fighting Danny Christie at the main event, BKFC 40, April 22nd in Leeds. If you can't get there and get a ticket, don't forget to download the BKFC app. You can watch it all on there, $7.99 a month. Also, there's 2 events this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Don't miss it. All for the $7.99 a month. Do it now.